Welcome to Blue Chip Technology's new RE2 single board computer. I'll show you what it looks like when you receive the product. Believe it or not, this very, very small SBC is the new beast. I'll move things away, you can see it a little bit more clearly. Size, it's 100mm by 70mm, and in terms of profile, very, very low. It's all designed and manufactured by Blue Chip Technology. And if I just briefly take you through some of the interfaces and features, it'll give you an idea of what she can do. In terms of a processor, it's either a 600 megs or a 720 megs ARM Cortex-A8. And in its standard form, it has DSPs built in as well, either 430 or 520, depending on which CPU speed you choose. Standard memory is 256 megs of memory, and flash, onboard NAND flash, is 512 megabytes. If you need any more, on the other side of the board you can see a small micro SD card there, and standard fit for that is 2 gigs, but obviously she'll take more if needed. So in terms of basic support, we've got an array of connectors on this side. Standard LAN, which is 100 megabit, and then we've got 2 USB 2 ports, and then another 2 USB 2 ports in the corner here, so that's a total of 4. We've got a USB device port, so if you're running Windows CE, that's typically used as your interface into your development environment under Windows Visual Studio. Next one along is what looks like a HDMI port, and indeed the video side is correct, but we don't feed the audio out that for HDCP and licensing issues. So simplistically, that's your interface up to your large screen monitor if you wish. Next one along, in this case it's showing a jack. You can also get it with a screw terminal, and that's DC voltage in anywhere between 7 and 36 volts DC. In terms of power consumption for the board as a whole, depends on which version of the speed you get, but we're talking in the region of 2 to 3 watts, that kind of order. Next one along on the connectors is a utility connector. So on that one we've got the basic power on off, reset, that kind of thing. And we've also got a connector assigned there for engineering mode, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later. Next one along is the camera port. Again, that'll be a subject of another section of our video. Beyond that, we've got the input for the real-time clock battery. The rest of the board doesn't need it, so if you're not going to use the real-time clock, if you're going to get it off the internet, then you won't need to populate that bit. If I turn the board around, the next two are aerial connections, one for Wi-Fi and one for Bluetooth. Next one along from that one is the audio ports. So you've got audio in, stereo, audio out, and a mic. Next one along is the RS232 ports, which is 232, which is TX, RX and ground, and 485, which is the classic 4-wire implementation. Next one along from that one, we mentioned the USB before, so now we're on a full RS232 port, so 9-pin arrangement, so you've got the control lines on it. Around again, and we've got our Blue Chip LCD interface, so that gives us 18-bit interface up to the LCDs, and it's also got connectivity for the touchscreen and the touchscreen controllers on board. In the middle section here we've got another connector which is for the I/O, so we've got 12 general purpose I/O lines which can be configured in a variety of modes. The standard interface there is 3.3 volt compliant. And finally, the connector in the middle is Blue Chip's interface for plug-on boards. As you'll see a little bit later, we've got some interesting options there that allow us to plug in camera boards or GPS, GSM, GPRS and accelerometer. Simplistically, it's a series of serial interfaces that allow the basic computer to access the new peripherals. And on the back of the board, as I mentioned, we've got the SD card.